Alright, I'm going to take you through the review packet. So on the first page, number 1, it says identify the slope and the y-intercept. So I know that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And m always stands for the slope, and b stands for the y-intercept. Well, this equation in number 1 is in slope-intercept form, y equals 4/3 x minus 4. So then I can conclude the slope is what's in place of the m, so that's 4/3. So my slope is 4/3, and then my y-intercept is what's in place for the b value, which is -4. Okay, so there's my answer for number 1. And for number 2, this time the only thing that's changed is the slope and the y-intercept, the 4 and the -2 this time. So my slope for this one would be 4, and the y-intercept would be -2. Okay. Oops. So I'm going to go on to number 3. This time the directions say write the slope-intercept form of the equation of each line given the slope and y-intercept. So I'm going to start by writing slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And then all I'm going to do is replace the m and the b value with the ones that they give me. They give me that the slope is 4 and the b value, the y-intercept, is 1. So I'm going to rewrite for my final answer. I'm going to write y is equal to 4x plus 1. And there's my answer. Okay, and then similarly for the second one, for 4, this time it's going to be y equals, m is -3/4, and I write the x, and then the b value is -5, so I write -5. Done. There's my equation. Okay. Next, last one on the first page says identify the slope, x and y-intercepts, and then write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So first I'm going to make some blanks here because they asked me several things here. So they asked me for the slope, they asked me for the x-intercept, the y-intercept, and the equation. Okay, I'm going to give them something for each of these. So let me draw some blanks here. Okay, so first, the slope. To figure out the slope, I need to use this graph. So I'm going to start at one point, and go to another point, and count the rise over the run. So if I start at this top point, I'm going to count the rise, and I have to go down to that point. So I'm going to go down 1, 2. So since I went down 2, it's going to be -2, since I had to go down. Then from where I end right there, I need to go to the right, and I only had to go 1. So since I went to the right, it's +1. So the rise over the run is going to be -2 over +1, which will simplify to just a negative. So for my slope on that blank, I'm going to put -2. That'll be done. Then they asked for the x-intercept. Now the x-intercept is going to be where that line crosses the x-axis. And that line crosses the x-axis right here at +1. So there's two different ways you can answer this question. The x-intercept can either be written as +1, or you can write that as a point. And as a point, you would write that as 1, 0. Okay, and then we got to find the y-intercept, and the y-intercept is where that line crosses the y-axis, which would be this point right here. Crosses at +2. So there's two different ways you can write that. You can write that as 2, or it would be the point 0, comma 2. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to write my equation. And the equation is going to be similar to y equals mx plus b. I'm going to plug in what I found for m and what I found for b. Well, m is the slope. Well, the slope I found was -2, so y equals -2x. And then my b value is the y-intercept, so I'm going to put plus 2. And there's my equation. Y equals -2x plus 2.